Hey everybody! In today's video, I'm going to teach you how to add some abstraction and impressionism to detailed images just with a little watercolor. This is the new Hero Arts My Monthly Hero kit, which I'm in love with. And I always try to come up with tips for showing you basically how not to make stamp images look like the stamp images, because I feel like that increases their value quite a bit. It does for me anyway. And so I'm going to take a line art image that you could color very precisely. If you like Copic markers, for example, you could do very detailed coloring of these beautiful, clean images. But this video is for people who maybe can't color or aren't precise, or if you're like a couple of friends of mine, maybe you have a hand tremor. Maybe precision is not your thing. This is the video for you. So this makes these stamps so much more versatile. The kit is a great value anyway. You get so much for the low price of the kit, but stretching a stamp is a challenge that I take to heart every time I sit down at my desk. These girls reminded me of ballet dancers. I love the motion in the form of these stamps. And I wanted to bring a little bit of almost Degas into that scene because ballet is what popped into my head. So I've stamped these in Fadeout ink on my favorite watercolor paper, which will be listed below. And I've sprayed that with water because first what I'm going to do is create the illusion of snow and ice around these girls. These little skaters. And I went to college. I was born in upstate New York. I went to college at the University of Rochester. And I think of two things when I think of snow. I think, thank God, I don't live there anymore. And I think of how much color there was in the snow in New York. There was always a little bit of gray because snow gets dirty. But there was also that icy blue that you see on a sunny day. And so that's what I'm going to try to put into a few of the areas that would look like shadows if you were looking at a snowbank in New York. Believe it or not, I actually remember pretty vividly what snow smells like, how quiet it makes everything. I don't remember it super fondly, I'm not going to lie. But I do remember it, and it's a great opportunity to try to paint what's in my mind. So you might be thinking, it looks like these girls are on fire. But just wait, because all watercolor lightens up quite a bit when it dries. And I am putting down Shadow Violet, which is one of my favorite colors. And if you watch my little handmade watercolor palette over there, you will see this beautiful shadow violet color separate as I'm painting. You'll see a pink emerge. It's just a stunning color. So I'm putting these two colors that I know and love, and I know they exist in snow. Down the other color is Amazonite, which is stunning. And then I'm going to dry it with my heat gun because in order to get the very soft appearance of shadow and color in the background, I needed the background wet to do those little washes. But now I'm going to color my little skaters and I need the paper to be dry so I can be more precise and not have the colors that I'm painting them bleed into the background. Now I'm ignoring all of the detail on this stamp. I'm just going to paint right over the top of it, but I'm going to just give you color and motion. So if you look at very loose watercolor paintings that are attractive to you, those are always attractive to me, even though loose is not really a natural gift of mine because I'm a Virgo. But if I look at those paintings of people especially, I love how featureless they are. You just get a sense of their clothing or the direction that they're moving. And that's very appealing to me. And I wanted to try it because it's not something I'm typically good at. But it'll end up looking like a beautiful painting, even though you started with a very precise stamp. I added both red and green to this first skater because it is winter. And I wanted it to feel like almost Christmas. That's the theme of this month's release. And so I'm adding, again, that beautiful teal color, turquoise, whatever you want to call it, to the white ruffle on her skirt and also her white skates, because in my mind, that color is being reflected off the snow. So essentially they're white, but you're seeing some reflections. I gave her a beautiful, bright, springy green hat, and I'm adding just a teeny bit of shadow, and you can see that I added that springy green on her dress because that's also reflected light. Now, to pull these two images together, I'm basically going to make the second dress the color of the first girl's hat. This one has a ruffled skirt, which I wanted to preserve, and so I've added just some vertical stripes to that little ruffle. That was my Starbucks cup. I can't paint without 20 ounces of Earl Grey tea. That's just a fact. And if you're a Starbucks fan, and if you're an Earl Grey tea fan, here's my tip for you. Starbucks drinks are way too strong. So what I do is as soon as I get done at the drive-thru, I drive down to the end of the shopping center where there's a trash can, and I take the two, one too many, Earl Grey tea bags out of my cup and I throw them away. Because if I leave them in there by the time I get home, even though I only live a mile from Starbucks, my tea's way too strong and I can't drink it. Earl Grey is a very delicate flavor. It doesn't need to be like trucker style strong for me to enjoy my tea. So that's my tip for you. Toss out those tea bags before you leave the shopping center. You'll have a really nice cup of tea and you won't be shaken 20 minutes later. Now, I realized after I painted her hat that it's actually her hair, but we don't care because this video is all about abstraction. So I abstracted her hair right into a little poofy hat. Now I'm going to add a bit more blue to the shadows. This is really just to give you a sense of foreground and background in the image. And then I'll finish by adding some deeper shadows to the front girl's face. I wanted her to be more saturated and darker than the background girl because she is closer to the viewer's eye. So I'll add just a tiny bit of detail, and it's amazing how that ends up looking like a painting and not the detailed image that it started with. So I hope you've enjoyed this. Head over to my blog for a giveaway and lots more goodies from this month's Hero Arts release. All the products are linked below the video. Thanks so much for watching.